So officially Liverpool 4, Cardiff 1. Mohamed Salah, remember, who everyone was questioning whether or not he could find the form where, of course, he was so good last season. Compare the two, Mr. Hislop, Premier League and Champions League matches. He's only scored 1 goal less than he did last year when, he broke all those records.
Yeah, a different circumstance, given that he had just arrived from Roma. There was a lot of question marks as to whether he would play and where he would play. He eventually found his feet, and the rest is history. This time around, coming off the injury in the Champions League final, the World Cup for Egypt, I know they didn't go too far, a stuttering start when everybody kind of...
It's not a stuttering start, it's a
well, a stuttering start early on, which
right.
is why people started to question whether he could. I just felt... Strikers like Salah, it just takes a goal or two. I never felt that his confidence started to wane. Certainly always had the support of Jurgen Klopp, and that's important. And when you have a front three like Liverpool do, with Mane and Firmino, who can pick up the slack, once Salah found his rhythm, I just don't see how you stop him at this point. Getting back to his best, his confident best.
You take a look at the table, just a one mover, in fact, after today's run. Liverpool going top, clear now of Manchester City, of course, in action on Monday against Spurs. Hey?
Yeah, well,
Only dropped 4 points, haven't they, so far this campaign? They've been brilliant.
Yes.
Many seem still to be giving it to City without even batting an eyelid.
Well, just you give them last season's league run that City had. I don't expect them to be as good as they were last year. At the same time, I expect Liverpool to be better, but that's a huge gap to close between the two. I think that gap will be smaller, but just not enough. At the same time, though, if you're Liverpool, I still think Liverpool can get even better. And this game against Cardiff kind of summed it up. Their second goal came with their first shot on target in the second half. Yet still they run out 4-1 winners. If you can play poorly by their standards for that long a patch against a poor team like Cardiff and still come away 4-1 winners, you're doing a whole lot right. Liverpool were better in the second half of last season because Van Dijk joined in January. Maybe they do the same this time around, but still too big a gap for them to close.
Well, let's take a look at today's matches, shall we? You go through the results. Nothing particularly stands out. Pretty much everything went to form. You saw Liverpool with that 4-1 victory over Cardiff. Fulham remained to be struggling in defence. Bournemouth with that 3-0 win. Brighton with much needed 3 points, that victory against Wolves. Southampton, Newcastle as bad as each other. Watford 3, Huddersfield 0. Leicester 1, West Ham 1. Shall we start with that one, Shaq?
Yeah, well, why not? Claude Puel coming into this one under a whole lot of pressure. I think amped up by the fact that Jamie Vardy wasn't in the starting lineup, and he took to social media to say something, which inevitably gets twisted in all sorts of shapes. West Ham start slowly, but then take the lead. Then Mark Noble gets himself sent off.
Correct decision?
In my opinion, yes. I thought Mark Noble was nowhere close to the ball, and Studd showing a couple inches off the floor.
No brainer.
Even for a West Ham fan like me, I thought that was a straight red. The referee got that one right. For large periods, Leicester huffed and puffed, though, until the deflection got the goal. And this kind of surprised me that Leicester, even with the man advantage, weren't able to threaten West Ham better. All that being said, ever since 2 international breaks ago, I think Pellegrini has got this West Ham team defending a whole lot better. And it showed.
Meanwhile, Liverpool with the win, as Neil Warnock predicted.
Yeah, and Neil Warnock gave his team a bit of an excuse going into this one. That being said...
It was closer, though, wasn't it?
It was a lot closer than the scoreline suggested.
At 2-1, you thought, well...
The first half was all Liverpool, and somehow Cardiff get back to the dressing room thinking, I can't believe we're just 1-0 down here. And they came out and were a lot better in the second half. Liverpool scored their second with their first shot on target in the second half, and even still, it was close. Cardiff get a goal, edge of the seat time, and then Liverpool get 2 in quick succession late on to maybe have the scoreline reflect what people thought going into this one. But it wasn't as easy as it should have been, or maybe the scoreline suggests.
And finally, we know that football can throw up a lot of surprises. Southampton 0, Newcastle 0 is not one of those.
No, it's not. And if you watch the 90 minutes of this one, surprise is not the word to describe it either. It was a dire affair, I guess a point better for Newcastle, given their position. But on this showing, you're not quite sure where either of these teams are going to get 3 points, let alone a goal.
Shaq Hislop, thank you very much. A lot more from Shaka later on in the day when the latest edition of ESPN FC drops on ESPN+. Juve top of the table, 7 clear of Napoli, are in action tomorrow against Roma. This was really all about Ronaldo, Shaq. And it's interesting because when he went to Italy from Spain, there was a kind of thing it seems to make sense for both teams. And we weren't really sure how Ronaldo was going to adapt to Italian football. But today, he was the difference. He was the reason that Juve won this.
And when he first arrived in Turin, things started slowly, and then questions were, was this the right move? Can he score goals in Italy as he would in Spain? And you saw those frustrations from Cristiano Ronaldo early on. But slowly but surely, he kept chipping away, and you knew he kept looking for those chances, and now he's found his range. That second goal from Ronaldo is everything that has made him special over the years. There is simply nothing anybody could do about that. Drifts off of the back four into position that you're not really sure as a defender whether to go with him because it leaves gaps. As defensive midfield don't really make up the ground quickly enough. But even so, from that kind of distance, you take your chances 9 times out of 10 with most players. But as Ronaldo continues to show, he's not most players. And that really was some finish to deliver all 3 points to Juventus.
And papering over the cracks from a very lacklustre performance, really.
Yeah, it was. I thought Juventus throughout were rather pedestrian. I thought Empoli dealt with them very well. 2 solid banks of 4. And Juventus never really played with the pace on the counter-attack to unsettle them or drag players out of position. As a result, Empoli dealt with everything Juventus had pretty much throughout. I don't think it was a penalty. Looking at it real time, I didn't. Replays on slow motion tend to give it a different complexion, but I stand by my initial thought that it wasn't a penalty. But even so, that second goal was a bit of a heartbreaker from an Empoli perspective and maybe gave Juventus a little bit more than they deserved. All that being said, you're not playing well, you dropped 3 points last weekend, you get yourself 3 somehow this weekend, you're sitting comfortably at the top. You earn that right to not play well and still win 3 points, and Juventus continue to do that.
Welcome into Extra Time. It's just me and Shaq.
Hey!
Which is the subject of the first question, Shaq. Yesterday we had 5 panellists, and today only 1. Are you guys feeling a bit lonely and missing other company? Well, let's considering the other company yesterday was Craig.
Who was in a little bit of a mood.
Do you even need to say that?
Yeah, more of a mood than usual.
Standard. Do either of you find these one-on-one shows more relaxed or fun to do?
It's less pressure.
In what way?
Well, we don't have that ridiculous producer shouting in our ear every 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. We kind of we're free to do what we want because we have no earpieces in the studio. We can say what we want.
Do what we want for as long as we want, with nobody saying stop.
Which he does say a lot.
Yeah. So that's good.
Oh, what have we done to this table?
Well, it's budget. This is the budget studio.
Can you get rid of Shaka's power rankings from the show? It's a useless segment that no one cares about.
Well, I have it from a good source that Lopetegui uses it in his pre-game team talks to
really to motivate everyone.
Yeah.
For a segment that not many people care about, a lot of people seem to care about it.
Yeah.
You get a lot of abuse, but now you're off Twitter, you don't see it.
I'm good. So you can abuse me all you like.
Well, should we give your home address? Maybe people could write to you. I would go old
send
school.
Send them to you, and then you can just bring it in.
Okay, my address is Mr. Craig Burley.
Burley Way.
What is your favourite comedy show movie? Mine is Shaka Hislop's top 10 team rankings. Always hilarious, especially when he tries to rationalise it.
I always do a great job.
What's your favourite comedy?
Seinfeld. Seinfeld is the only thing I watch, really. I've got a wife and 5 kids.
Right.
I have no access.
But you can watch reruns forever?
Yeah, I can watch reruns forever.
See, I'm like that with the UK Office.
All right. I'm Seinfeld. Comes on late at night, watch a little bit of Seinfeld.
Yeah. Do you have a favourite episode? I know that's a point of discussion for some people.
No, it's not a point of discussion for me. I just watch.
Do you have a favourite season?
No.
Right, good. Who was the best player you ever played with, Shaq?
Alan Shearer.
What do you miss the most and least with your time as a professional football player?
I miss the banter in the dressing room.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I really miss. What do I miss least? I know how much I think about Kylian Navas, given what he challenging that.
Yeah. What did Sid say?
I can't remember.
You definitely. I think he said Lopetegui.
We last said next time he's on. It's UI. You pronounced every letter in Spanish.
What are you talking about?
You pronounce every letter in a Spanish word. I learned that in
Did you?
Spanish class.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. I'm going with we, Lopetegui.
Who is Shaka Hislop's favourite West Indian cricketer of all time, apart from Viv Richards?
Well, that's not fair, because every West Indian's favourite cricketer is Viv Richards. Aside from that, and vice versa. You just take it as it is.
Isn't it vice versa?
Vice versa.
Who says vice versa?
I do. Lopetegui and vice versa.
Just a reminder, we will be back on your screens tomorrow to reflect on El Clasico, Le Classique as well. How do you pronounce that, Jack?
Le Classique.
Be sure to join us.
Go read it.
Vice versa.